What's cooking, guys, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm in my new kitchen and you'll get to see a little bit of my new kitchen in today's video. And in today's video, I'm going to be making my creamy chicken and spinach lasagna. This is not your traditional lasagna with the meat sauce and the ricotta filling. This has a creamy bechamel sauce that I'm going to show you how to make, and also this very flavorful chicken and spinach filling, which is layered like a classic lasagna. So stay tuned for the recipe. Do consider subscribing if you're new here and you'd like to join the foodie family, and also hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And now let's get cooking. So let's start off by marinating the chicken first, and here I have 2 chicken breasts that I cut into little bite-sized pieces. You can also substitute this for boneless and skinless chicken thighs. And to this I'm going to add some olive oil. You can substitute it to whatever oil you like, and I'm just only going to add about a tablespoon or so. Then I have some dried parsley. I'm using between half to 1 teaspoon. Then we have some freshly ground black pepper. I'm using it to taste, but it's about almost a teaspoon or so. Then I have some onion powder. I'm using about half to 1 teaspoon. Then I'm also going to add about half a teaspoon of white pepper powder. I just like the smoky pepper flavor from it. A 1/4 teaspoon of red chili flakes. I only used a little bit here because my pepper flakes are very spicy. And then lastly, I have some dried oregano, again about half a teaspoon. And then you want to add some salt to taste. I added about a teaspoon and a half to 2 teaspoons for this amount of chicken. And then I started mixing it up, but I realized that I didn't add any garlic, and I had ran out of fresh garlic. So instead I used about a teaspoon and a half of pre-chopped or pre-minced garlic. And then just mix everything up till everything is incorporated together and all the seasonings are coated on the chicken. And then you can set this aside for about 15 to 20 minutes for now. And then I'm going to heat up a pan on medium-high heat. And to this I'm going to add a few tablespoons of olive oil and let the oil heat up in the pan for a few seconds. And once the oil is hot, you want to add all of your marinated chicken that we already seasoned really well. And you want to let the chicken cook till all of its juices are starting to release and also starting to evaporate. And since I'm using chicken breast, this will cook pretty quickly. It just needs a few minutes. And once the juices start to evaporate and cook off, you're going to see that the chicken is going to start to caramelize and get like a really beautiful golden brown color on it. And that is when you know that the chicken is fully cooked inside. And as I said, guys, you can also use boneless, skinless chicken thighs here. Just use the same method of preparing it as I did, and that will just give you a juicier piece of chicken instead of the chicken breast. But I always prefer to use white meat. And you can see here that the chicken started to caramelize really beautifully and all of its own liquids and juices have evaporated. This method is the best way to cook because you don't want any of that raw chickeny flavor, which I really dislike. And I always like to cook all my meats to perfection, to have that golden brown color, and that's exactly what you want for this dish as well. And at this stage, when the chicken is fully cooked, you want to add about 12 to 16 ounces of frozen spinach. I prefer to use frozen spinach because it is already the amount of weight that says on the bag, instead of using fresh spinach. Using fresh spinach, you're going to have to use too much of it so that you can get the amount that I want in this recipe. And then you want to mix the spinach with the chicken, making sure the chicken and the spinach are well incorporated together, and mix it really well. And after mixing it well, you want to cover this for at least about 5 minutes so that the spinach can get a chance to cook with the chicken. And after about 5 minutes, I'm going to check on the chicken and the spinach, and you want to mix it well. I want to cook this down till all of the liquid from the spinach is cooked off, just the way we did the chicken. But this spinach is not going to take too long to cook, so you want to cover it one more time and just let it cook for another 5 to 10 minutes. And after about 5 to 10 minutes, you can see that the liquid from the spinach is fully evaporated and it has dried down. And this is exactly the way this chicken and spinach filling mixture should look like. And now you can turn the stove off for this. Our chicken and spinach filling is done. And now let's make the bechamel sauce. This is a very easy sauce to make at home. We have a pot here and I'm going to heat that up and also add in about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And then you also want to add a few drops of olive oil Anytime you cook with butter, you want to add a few teaspoons of olive oil too, so that the butter doesn't burn. And you want to let the butter melt with the olive oil in the pan. And once the butter is completely melted, I have about 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour here. And I'm just going to throw that in the pot with the butter and stir it really quickly. This method is to cook off that raw all-purpose flour flavor, because you never want to eat raw flour. It can really cause like bad indigestion and also cause stomach aches. And you just want to keep mixing so the flour doesn't burn. Make sure to use a wooden spoon or a whisk over here. And then when the flour is completely cooked down, I'm going to add 1 can of evaporated milk. I believe that's about 16 ounces, which is about a cup and a half of evaporated milk. And you want to start whisking that so the flour lumps can break down in the milk. And then I also have 2 cups of regular whole milk. You can substitute the milk with any type of milk you like, whether that's almond milk or oat milk. And then keep whisking continuously so that the lumps of the flour can break down. And this will help to thicken the milk a little bit. And now I'm going to add my seasoning. I have some black pepper here to taste, which was about a teaspoon or so. Then I have some onion powder. And then I have a little bit of red chili flakes again. I have dried oregano here. I used about half a teaspoon or so. I also have dried parsley, again about half a teaspoon. And then I have some nutmeg here. I'm using fresh nutmeg and I'm just grating that in there. I used about half a teaspoon or maybe a little bit less than that. You can also use nutmeg powder if you like, but fresh nutmeg will just give this bechamel sauce a beautiful depth of flavor. So definitely don't skimp on the nutmeg here. And then of course some salt to taste. And then just whisk everything up till all the seasonings are mixed well with the milk and the flour mixture, and they start to give this sauce some flavor. And after a couple of minutes, you can see the sauce starts to thicken up because of the flour that we added in the first step. And then I went in again with the wooden spoon, and you can see that the sauce is now boiling a little bit. And you want to cook this on like a really low medium type of heat, and just continuously mix this so the flour and the milk mixture doesn't start to stick at the bottom of the pan. And using a wooden spoon, as the sauce thickens, you want to put some of the sauce on the wooden spoon and just run your finger across the wooden spoon. And if the wooden spoon comes off clean and you can see the bottom of it, that means that the sauce is perfectly thick and that the sauce is completely done at this point. You don't have to completely boil this over, but as soon as you start seeing a little bit of boil to it, you can turn off the heat and set the sauce aside. And now our homemade easy bechamel sauce is completely done. And now let's preheat the oven to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now to assemble the lasagna, I already put some bechamel sauce in my baking pan. And then I'm going in with the oven-ready lasagna sheets. You can always use the sheets that you have to pre-boil first, but I like using the oven-ready ones. It just makes my life easier. It's one less step. And then I'm going in with the chicken and spinach filling and just topping that off onto the lasagna sheets. And then I'm going to sprinkle some grated mozzarella cheese for the next layer. There's really no specific method to layering this lasagna. You can do whatever you like. I was just doing, whatever made sense at that time. And then the next layer is going to be the bechamel sauce again. So yeah, you just want to keep layering this lasagna using the lasagna sheets, the bechamel sauce, the chicken and spinach filling, the mozzarella cheese, and just keep going until you're at the top of the baking pan. And then you just want to sprinkle it with some dried parsley and some dried oregano. And now this is ready to go in the oven. And now I'm going to put this in the oven for about 40 to 45 minutes and let it bake till it's perfectly golden on the top. And after about 45 minutes, you can see it is perfectly golden brown on the top. The cheese has melted and this is ready to come out of the oven. Make sure that when it comes out of the oven, you let it sit for at least 15 to 20 minutes so all of the layers can come together again and nothing falls apart when you're ready to serve it. And here I just want to show you the cross section of this chicken and spinach lasagna, and you can see the creamy layers of the bechamel. You can see the flavorful chicken in there and the spinach and the cheesy layers of the mozzarella cheese. This spinach and chicken lasagna is so easy to make at home, and it's such a great alternative to the regular typical meat sauce and ricotta filling lasagna. So that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my creamy chicken and spinach lasagna. This is a different take on the classic lasagna lasagna, but it is still very easy to make, and I do hope that you guys try it out. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe before leaving. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Until then, take care of yourselves.